Welcome to our 8th lesson of Luther's Large Catechism, Part 2 for the staff meetings at Green Valley Lutheran School. What we ask you to do, remember, is to watch a 5-minute video. Thanks for putting up with me. Read the material, Luther's text of his small catechism or large catechism, and then the discussion questions or the activities. Look at them. If there's a Bible study or a try this at home, do that. But then the discussion questions, pick one of them and answer it or give a response to it on the Group Me staff meeting page, and also react to one of your colleagues' responses as well. Then you get credit for that week's work. Remember though, the work week for this goes from Wednesday through Tuesday. You got to have a response in by those 7 days. So today, November, we're only going to have 2 lessons in November because of all the holiday breaks. We're on the Lord's Prayer, and Luther continues, why should I pray? Last week, the big idea was we're commanded to pray. This week, the big idea is God promises an answer to prayer. That's the big idea. God promises an answer to prayer. That's why we should pray. Where does God promise an answer? Well, it's in the various Bible passages clearly. Call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you will honor me. God promises to answer our prayers in times of trouble with deliverance. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. Ask and it will be given to you. Jesus says, prayer will be answered by God. And so pray. If we refuse an invitation repeatedly from someone, they finally stop inviting us. They don't think we're very friendly towards them. Don't reject the Lord's invitation to pray. He promises an answer. Luther goes on to say, okay, so I'm going to pray to God because of the command and because of his promise. But then Luther goes on to talk about how God anticipates us. God creates the situations, puts the words in our mouths that we pray. And you might think, well, what words does he put in our mouth? And Luther instantly goes to the Lord's Prayer. He says, you know, when you pray the Lord's Prayer, you can't sit there and think, and this is this is the mind of a writer, whether I have hit upon the right proportions and form, whether I've balanced my prayer off enough, whether I've used the fitting words or good phrases. No, with the Lord's Prayer we have one of the best prayers ever, so our God anticipates us. And when we look at the Lord's Prayer, Luther says, there's another reason why we should pray. When we realize our distress, we realize our real need. And he makes a comparison to all the prayers going on in the medieval Roman Catholic Church from the monks and the priests. And he says, no, those weren't prayers, because they didn't pray at the command of God. They did not pray because of his gospel promise to answer prayer. They didn't even pray because of their need. They prayed because they thought it was a good work. They thought they were pleasing God by just praying on at length. Yowling and howling, he calls it. But no, we please God with our prayers because it's by his command, in answer to his promise, seeing the distress that we are in. With earnestness, we pray to God. And he makes the application to how prayer of a few godly men was like an iron wall that defended the Reformation from the attacks of the devil and the unbelieving world. Take a look at it, a promised answer. We'll see you next week.